JBN, we keep you informed. Council vows to stay after gun attack in Red Hills. Jamaica Labour Party JLP councillor for the Red Hills division in St. Catherine West Central, Keith McCook, said that he is not overly worried by the recent attempt on his life. McCook was attacked by unknown assailants who drove up to his gate on a motorcycle last Tuesday about 9:30 p.m. and proceeded to call him out of his house. Before he could reach the bottom of his stairs, one of the men opened fire and sped away. McCook was unhurt. "I've been living in this community all my life, and I have not done any harm to anyone for this to happen to me," McCook said. "All of a sudden, this incident took place. But I will not run away from my house, and I'll continue to serve the people." McCook retained the division in the 2016 local government elections by amassing 60% of the votes to outmatch Donovan Nathan of the People's National Party. While making it clear that he was not suggesting any link to the Tuesday attack, McCook revealed that a small band of supporters had turned against him and were backing another prospective candidate from the party. "As far as I know, the application was not accepted because the party does not have a problem with my work in the division, neither the majority of the people," McCook said. Senior Superintendent in charge of the St. Catherine North Police, Beau Rigaby, said that no motive has been identified for the attack. Police vehicle transporting prisoner to court crashes in Falmouth. A police service vehicle transporting a prisoner to court today collided with a Toyota Camry, which ended up in a gully across from the Falmouth market. According to eyewitnesses on the scene, the Toyota Camry was ahead of the service vehicle, and the female driver put on her indicator to turn on the road leading to the pier when the service vehicle was making the same turn and collided. "The police smashed up the woman's vehicle and lick it into the water. I mean, no, so nothing now come out of it," said a bystander. The female driver, who wished to remain anonymous, only had this to say: "In God, I put my trust." Meanwhile, the prisoner who the police were transporting is complaining of a pain in his right shoulder as a result of the accident. Officers on the scene declined to comment until a full investigation is done. The Falmouth police are investigating. COVID-19 testing kits coming next week. A shipment of COVID-19 testing kits is expected to arrive in the island sometime next week to help alleviate the backlog of COVID-19 samples that still need to be tested. The disclosure was made during the Ministry of Health and Wellness weekly COVID-19 press conference yesterday. Director of Services at the National Public Health Lab, Dr. Michelle Hamilton, said the lab was on track to clear the backlog. However, there was a shipment delay in the necessary reagents. The situation, however, is not one of doom and gloom because we have been assured and documents have been forwarded to us to indicate that we are in fact getting a large shipment of kits next week, Dr. Hamilton said. "This is very good news because it means that we will have kits on hand to clear any samples remaining at the lab as well as to deal with eventualities coming in from the field," she added. She noted that the lab will be receiving a much larger number of kits than it was originally expecting. "Just that it's occurring after the time we'd expected the kits to come," she said. JLP Southeast sent on candidate booted for COVID-19 breach. 5 days before nomination day, Dr. Ryan Simpson has been removed as the Jamaica Labour Party's JLP candidate for Southeast St. Ann for allegedly breaching the island's COVID-19 protocols. Rumors surfaced on social media platforms on Wednesday that the JLP representative had been booted from the seat, and one of his Facebook pages dedicated mainly to social media campaigning has been inactive since Wednesday morning. JLP General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang, speaking in a radio interview on Thursday, said Simpson recently arrived in the island from overseas and did not adhere to the COVID protocols, which required him to be quarantined at home for a period of 14 days. Simpson, a minister of religion, was noticeably left out of a JLP advertisement that was published in one of the island's national newspapers on Wednesday, which revealed the photographs of the party's slate of candidates. In addition, there was no photograph of a candidate for Southeast St. Ann. The former JLP caretaker was active on his Facebook account up to Wednesday morning. His postings included, "The lion is the king of its domain, not because it is the heaviest or biggest animal in the jungle. The lion is king because of its spirit of leadership and its instinct to protect. I will not only lead my constituency, but I'll protect it too. Hashtag Ryan the Lion." #hope, #change, #prosperity. He was expected to square off with Lisa Hanna in the polls on Thursday, September 3. Southeast St. Anne, however, is considered a PNP stronghold, and Hanna is expected to run away with victory there. But political observers had said Simpson was making strong progress in certain areas in the constituency, and he could possibly receive more votes than his predecessors, who often tallied in the region of over 4,000 votes. Meanwhile, some Facebook users, allegedly describing themselves as JLP supporters from Southeast St. Anne, expressed outrage at the rumors that have been circulating. "If Ryan Simpson is out, I am out too," claimed one Labourite. Another male supporter added, "If there's no Ryan Simpson, there's no vote in Southeast St. Anne, period. Tell Horace Chang to count Southeast St. Anne as a PNP seat then." Chang, in the meantime, has indicated that a new JLP candidate will soon be in place in the seat. Falmouth homeless mentally ill man remanded again. 68-year-old homeless mentally ill Maurice Rassimong Small, who has been languishing in penal institutions since 2004 because he was deemed unfit to plea, was remanded in custody when he appeared in the Trelawney Parish Court today. Maurice was thrown behind bars after he was charged for malicious destruction of property, after he allegedly used a stone to smash a windscreen of a Nissan motor car in Falmouth. After being examined by two psychiatrists, they both concluded that he was unfit to plead. The court is willing to release him from the Department of Correctional Services to the Falmouth Infirmary. However, there has become a challenge due to the COVID-19 restrictions. Judge Ruth Lawrence, who presided over the matter today, said she is in discussions with the Trelawney Lay Magistrates Association in an effort to find suitable housing for Small, where he will be assigned a guardian who will ensure that the intake of his medication for his mental illness is supervised. Morris is to return to court on September 2. More opportunities needed for unattached youth, says Holness. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says more opportunities are needed for the nation's unattached youth in order to prevent them from falling prey to criminal elements. Speaking at the Jamaica Defence Force JDF Burke Barracks in St. James recently, Holness said it is against this background why the JDF, through the Jamaica National Service Corps, has been mandated to provide a valuable option for young people through training and education. In 1988, one of my first resolutions in Parliament was for Jamaica to develop a system of compulsory military training for all Jamaican males. I continue to believe that should be the direction in which Jamaica goes, the Prime Minister stated. He noted that it was important to have the JDF play an integral role in our social intervention, security and socialization, adding that the JNSC was established to undertake this. But it was also established for another purpose. If we are to integrate upfront the security element in social intervention, you need personnel. Otherwise, you're going to rely solely on force, and you'll not be able to have effective intervention if you're using force, Holness argued. Henry warns against fake employment agencies. Minister of Labour and Social Security Mike Henry is warning job seekers to be aware of fake employment agencies that swindle people out of cash as the Jamaican economy continues to be impacted by the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. According to Henry, there are currently 57 registered employment agencies in Jamaica. Of that number, the minister said 34 provide overseas job placements and 23 are responsible for local job placements. He added that because some job seekers are anxious to find meaningful work, they may be vulnerable to such fake agencies. But they should know that information about legitimate agencies is available on the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's website, which provides guidance and easy access to the public. Employment Agencies Unit within the ministry will continue to vigorously undertake routine inspections of private agencies to ensure compliance with the Employment Agencies Regulation Act, the minister said. He noted that in a bid to reduce illegality in the sector, the ministry will be reviewing the business process for application renewals. The relevant application forms can now be downloaded from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's website, Henry said. Additionally, said applicants will no longer be required to renew their license at the head office in Kingston, as this can now be completed at any parish office of the ministry across the island. Henry said for the 2020-2021 fiscal year, the ministry will be placing more focus on simplifying application procedures, and sensitizing employers about ethical recruitment practices and trafficking in persons. Private security guards to play a greater role in monitoring adherence to COVID-19 protocols, says Dr. Chang. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang says private security guards will be called upon to play a greater role in monitoring the adherence to COVID-19 protocols at private establishments. Security guards will be called on to ensure that protocols are maintained at the private institutions. We'll be looking in the Ministry of National Security to see how we can expand that role because we don't have enough officers to be everywhere monitoring who is wearing masks and maintaining social distance, Dr. Chang argued. He was speaking at the official opening of the Private Security Regulation Authority Western Regional Office in Montego Bay earlier today. The office will be used to register security personnel as well as companies and will monitor players in the private security industry to ensure that they adhere to regulations. Executive Director Rick Harris said the expansion to Western Jamaica is important as the country continues to increase its use of private security. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.